This is the Healey Brothers podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome. We're super excited to have you here today at this session. It's interesting as you think about this session and the time you're about to spend here the next 30 minutes, this actually could be some of the best invested time of your entire time here at NADA, because today we're going to learn 17 battle-tested social ads. But before we get into that, who the heck am I? So my name is Sam Dark. I'm the COO for the Ziegler Auto Group, based in Kalamazoo, Michigan, 41 stores, 4 states, about 2,700 employees. And I also work with the dealership car guy, Yossi. So I do a once-a-week podcast with him that we push out on most Sundays. And we get to talk to dealers that are doing really cool things to solve problems. One of the great things about automotive is this has got to be one of the most innovative industries of any segment in the American economy. Not only are we an economic indicator of health, but we are super, super innovative. We recently hosted who I'm about to introduce to you on our podcast, and the strategies were awesome there, and we're excited to be able to share them here with you today. So, without further ado, I want to introduce to you Jay Healey, who's CMO with Healey Brothers Auto Group, and Justin Friend, SVP with Dealers United. We'll turn the time to them. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Sam.
Yeah. Sam, how am I supposed to introduce myself as a car dealer after that?
It's what?
How am I supposed to introduce myself as a car dealer after that introduction?
Come on.
Thank you, Sam. We appreciate you jumping up and supporting us. Thank you all for joining again. My name is Justin. I'm the SVP with Dealers United. Thrilled to have Jay Healey, again, CMO for the Healey Brothers Auto Group. Super excited to have you all here today as we explore 17 battle-tested social ads. We're going to jump right in. Here's a slide that NADA wants you all to read. Hope you did. As I mentioned, really excited to have the opportunity to chat here with Jay. I've known Jay's family for many, many years. I've had the opportunity to work with them, and really excited to share with everybody here all of the content that we've created with them, how we've helped them deploy it, and really just walk through some of the success that we've had together. At the end of this, as Sam mentioned, you'll have some great takeaways. You will have the ability to walk away with an arsenal of ads and examples that hopefully you can take back to the dealership on Monday. So jumping right in, I did put some notes together for this section because there's a lot. A little bit about the Healey Brothers Auto Group. So Jay, you guys are considered Hudson Valley Best of the Best for new and used dealership for back-to-back years. You were recently named a top 150 group in the US. You're Hudson Valley's largest auto brand. You guys have your own podcast, which is pretty cool. You were our first dealer to pilot Pinterest shopping ads, and you were just awarded Best Place to Work in Orange County. So that's pretty impressive. Talk to us a little bit about Healey Brothers, the brand, what you guys are all about.
So a little background on us. We were founded by my grandfather after he got out of the war and after he worked at GM in 1977. We now have 9 locations, 10 brands, domestic and foreign. We do about 1,000 cars a month, give or take, and 350 to 400 used a month. And that's pretty much what we're going at right now.
Awesome. You guys have a bunch of great franchises that we'll talk about in a little bit shortly. Obviously, everybody wants to understand success. So again, with metrics, I took some notes. Please forgive me. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the results in a 6-month window. So this was January to June of 2024. You guys generated over 11,000 leads, had an average cost per lead of under $33, and an average cost per unit sold of under $200. So that's pretty impressive. You guys have done an exceptional job of getting creative with the content. What are some of the additional things that you guys look at when it comes to measuring success?
So, I mean, ROI is always so important, but when it comes to success for us, we have to drive the right traffic, create the right content for our consumers, and we're really going with our customer experience here with success. So we want to keep showing that, and constantly always grow our social media strategy.
I love it. So we're going to jump into the rest of the presentation. I do want to make a note. You'll see over on the right-hand side, the ads or the strategies are numbered. So again, we're going to get from 1 to 17. We're going to talk about some of them specifically, but not necessarily every single one of them. Quick poll, right? As you think about the concept of omni-channel, meaning multiple social media channels, quick show of hands, if you are on, or your dealership is on one social media channel or more, put your hand up. Interesting, there's a few with hands down. Keep your hand up, please, if you have 2 or more. Okay. How about 3 or more? Still doing pretty well. 4 or more channels. Okay, that's where it dropped off considerably. We'll talk to you as we continue about the power of having an omni-channel strategy where that messaging can work with your consumer regardless of what platform or channel they're spending time on. That's really the critical part of this. Okay, so diving in, why battle tested? Because we have built and proven these strategies over time. There's really 4 phases to this strategy. You got to start with a plan. You got to make sure that you have a team assembled. So you need the people that can help create the content. You have to set a target and understand what that target is and understand that that target may move over time. And finally, it's important to evaluate. Debrief, break it down, and if needed, pivot your strategy. So talking about the plan, right? It's got to start with the plan. And it's really important that you understand how to build a full funnel strategy across multiple channels. So that full funnel strategy is going to be everything from top of funnel right through middle all the way down to the bottom, and we're going to share with you some of the examples of how that content can change. So when you think about a full funnel strategy, you've got shoppers at multiple points in their buyer journey. Is your dealership showing up at every phase across that journey? Are you showing up when somebody is just thinking about or considering purchasing a vehicle? Are you showing up when they've gotten pretty, low in the funnel and they know exactly what vehicle they're looking for? So there's a lot of different ways and tactics that we can make sure that you are showing up in each of those phases. So Jay, we've talked a lot about how to make sure that you guys are present in, every stage of that customer's buyer's journey. Why don't we talk about that a little bit?
So first off, we're not just selling cars here. It's not just inventory ads, and I think some dealers get stuck on that. And it's important to show really what your dealership is about, what your group can do. So here, you really want to focus on your customer experience, how you help the customer, how you serve them along the way, not just sell them a car. And that's one strategy we always try to focus on at Healey, is not just inventory and shoving the inventory down a consumer's throat, but showing them what we can offer them besides that. And you want to build trust with that consumer. People buy from people that trust each other. So this is a great opportunity to really show that full customer experience, the social proof from other customers, whether it's a review or having a customer talk about you on video. This is what you have to show. You can't just be showing product, because consumers don't engage with that kind of stuff over and over again.
Yeah, it's critical to make sure that you're having that varied content through each.
Yeah, and you'll hear that as a trend from me is we don't want to just serve inventory. We don't just sell cars kind of thing throughout this. So that's just a big part of how we market and how we partner with them to do that the right way.
For sure. So awareness is the top of the funnel, right? This is getting a local shopper, and again, local is a key word. We'll come back to that. But this is getting a local shopper to know who you are. So from a content perspective, think about things that will resonate with a shopper. It could be about us. It could be why buy here. Human first content is one of the most powerful things that you can use in this stage, right? This is going to be things like behind the scenes. We've got 2 great examples over here on the right-hand side. One is a customer testimonial, right? That's kind of that third-party validation or proof. And a really cool video walking through a new facility. This, again, is top of funnel. This isn't going to get somebody to interact with a CTA, but it's about awareness. So, Jay, you guys have done a ton of work to make sure that it's promoting the brand that Healey has out there and not just inventory.
Yeah, so this is like a big part where we like to show that we're so community driven. We'll show our accolades and from a third party, whether we're the new or best used car dealer, we're the best employer in Orange County, our home county. So this is the area where you really want to show the consumer why you're different from the other dealers and what you do differently to handle your customer. And this is how you start building your brand presence on social media.
Well, and we'll talk about it as we get into it a little bit further, but you and your team have also done an exceptional job with that human first content, really making it authentic,
yeah,
and just getting consumers engaged. Okay, so as you move further down the funnel, the next step is really consideration. So this is where you're gonna get a shopper to trust you. First step, we gotta get them to know you. Now we wanna get them to trust you. So think about content examples, could be top model lines. It could be EV education or model comparisons, right? It could be live inventory that you have that's synced to your inventory feed and a walk around video. You guys, Jay, have done a fantastic job of promoting a handful of, I'll say, incentives or specials that are unique to the Healey brand.
So this could be really anything. This is your true differentiators. So for us, it's the 48-hour return policy. It's this reserve now where we hold your vehicle for 72 hours with a deposit. There's multiple different things that we do, or Healey prepaid maintenance that sets us apart from our competitor, and only we do it. So we want to show these in these ads, show the consumer that we're that much better at handling them as a customer, and it goes a long way, and it really shows that the Healey brand is different than the regular car dealer down the block, the Ford store. That's just a car dealer. We're the Healey brand, so that's where we can really differentiate and really set our mark to have the consumer engage with us and do business with us.
I love it. And again, going back to a couple of examples, you've got number 5 and number 6 over here on the right-hand side. These are vehicles that are good looking, have creative content, have great content that's going to be engaging, whether it's video, whether it's carousel, whether it's collage. You want to make sure that this content is engaging for your local shoppers. So sticking with consideration for a minute, this is a great example of an omni-channel strategy where you, Jay, have focused on an insurance brand. The thing that's important to note here, you've got examples on all 4 of the major social platforms. Same content or same concept, but we're now reaching shoppers where we know they're spending time. So talk to everybody a little bit about what's going on here.
So first off, this is just a way for us to show that we're the one-stop shop for all auto needs for our consumer locally. And Whoop is just a platform for us to engage with the consumers, say after a sale to get insurance. Everyone needs insurance. So it's a way, it's computer generated, AI generated in the background to help someone get a lower rate and maybe save some money. But the main goal here is to show the consumer we're there every step of the way, every part of the car sale, whether before, after, or during, that we have a product to serve them. And we can always help them. They don't have to go anywhere else for anything. And we keep them in our family. And then also you're creating that customer forever as well.
It's fantastic. All right, so moving further down the funnel, right? We're still in building that plan. Now we're talking about conversion. We've introduced you as a dealership, so they know you. We've built trust with some consideration, some education. Now we're to the point where we do want to talk about conversion, right? This is lower funnel, time to take action type of creative and content. So it could be something that is going to drive a lead. Maybe it's an instant lead form or a shopping ad as an example. Retargeting at this point, it's okay and it's important to retarget with messaging that asks somebody if they're still interested, right? That's a very valid way to get somebody re-engaged with the content that they were looking at. So think strong CTAs. So Messenger does a fantastic job of driving strong CTA with conversion. There's also an opportunity here to look at other initiatives like trade-in or vehicle acquisition. So Jay, you've got a great video here of Nikki talking people through, getting engaged. What would you share with the team from a conversion perspective?
Yeah, so when we're creating videos for conversion, we want the authenticity, we want to humanize the brand here. We want that person to actually engage and see someone from our showroom or our dealership. We know consumers, they like doing business with people they know. And when you do this on social media where everyone is, they feel like they know that person before they walk in your door, whether it's the showroom or service, they already feel like they know someone. I mean, we've had employees get on there, they do it for the first time, and then someone walks in and they feel like they know that person. At our Hyundai store, this guy, Teddy T, hates to be on camera. He did it once, and someone walked in and was like they felt like they were already friends. So the customer lets their guard down when they're on social media, because that's where everyone is again. And it just really makes the process that much better when you're in store. And it just, you have to be authentic, has to be the organic content that you create that then you turn into a marketing strategy, and then they'll convert a lot easier as well.
Great insight. If anybody here would like to have access to over 20 Instagram Reels examples featuring some of the stuff from the Healey Brothers team, go ahead and scan that QR code. You'll have immediate access to those examples.
It's going to cost you.
We good? Anybody not get it that wanted it? Phase 2, it's about putting your team together. This is how you are going to get the work done. You've got to get the team that's going to help you capture and ultimately share the content. So Jay, I'm going to turn this over to you because you guys have this pretty locked down when it comes to the team, the process, the structure of your team. Walk us through how you guys handle it.
So we've gone a little over top, but we found it's a necessity. So we do have 3 to 5 full-time content creators that go around the stores. We also try to make our own team inside the stores be our internal influencers, engage with us, create content for us. I know we actually talked about that with Sam a couple weeks ago, and he seemed to like that term. And then after that, we have content managers. So our content managers take in all the content, which is hundreds of videos, pictures every single day. They organize everything. And then, but when we're creating content, our team is a lot younger, so they know how to use social media better than I do and probably better than anyone here. They can go on TikTok, they're finding trendy videos, they're using Answer the Public, which is Neil Patel. And they're finding all the videos that really work, and then you could tie these things back to your brand. So it's a full team effort. We have a good process going, it flows. We have a content calendar as well that we use. But it's really a full process. It doesn't have to be this in-depth to do it. You just got to get going and do it. But this seems to work for us, and it's really progressed us with our growth and organic strategy as well as paid.
Well, I think the other thing that's important is your team has fun. They have fun doing it. They have fun creatively. You allow them to, get out there and test some things, and I think that shows through, right? That leans back to authenticity.
We do push the boundaries. I think Sam's one of his questions we're asking, how do you trust your people doing it? And then it was, I don't know, if I can't trust them, why are they actually on our team, kind of a thing. So you have to let them be creative. They're creative people. Let them have fun with it. Show their personalities, which is really, really important. And people actually like to engage with that kind of stuff. They like to see the authenticity. And then if it works organically, you turn it into a paid ad, and it works that much better and will drive traffic and really show what your brand and culture is about.
Keep rolling. Tell us about the tech you guys use.
This is definitely above my pay grade here. I try to buy them the best possible equipment out there, whether it's the drones, the cameras, the mics, the editing tools and all that stuff. But it's because we're at the point now, if we don't have high quality content, it's really not worth it to do. But it's very easy to get started. An iPhone can do just about anything, and my team tells me that all the time. A lot of them like to use their iPhone over other things. But I think it's super, super important to have the best stuff, let them really create high quality content that works for all the platforms.
When you guys do such an exceptional job of this, and I'm going to share a resource in a second, if I could make a recommendation, if you're not going to go too deep on equipment, but you want to dive a little bit deeper, the one thing that we would highly recommend, because we see lots and lots of video that has poor audio, invest in a wireless mic. So if you're going to do one thing beyond just an iPhone, invest in a wireless mic. Your audio quality will increase significantly. You won't have background noise, the truck running in the background, whatever it may be. So if you're gonna just do one additional thing from an equipment perspective, highly recommend a mic. When it comes to the content that you're creating, you gotta think about setting a hook, right? You wanna set that hook, and you wanna set that hook early. So here are some examples, all things that the team at Healey has tried. Again, we talked about fun, we talked about being creative. Think about things like letting a consumer know why it's easy to buy a car from your dealership. Think about things like myth busting for a particular vehicle, or the one thing that you need to know before you come to our dealership. These are all fantastic hooks that you can use to get customers engaged. I'm a big fan of the example we have over here on the right, number 12, the good old water bottle test, right? We all want to know if our water bottle or whatever we're drinking out of on a regular basis is going to fit in the cup holder. The team at Healey did a great job capitalizing on the popularity of the Stanley brand, so they're kind of playing off that trend, if you will. So big fan of that particular example. Another QR code for you if you want to take a look at our guide, our recommendations to creating and capturing content and some top performing ad quality. Feel free to scan this QR code and there's a downloadable resource for you. Hopefully that's a deal. Stage 3, the third stage is setting your target. This is all about making sure that you are reaching the right shopper on the right channel at the right time in their buyer journey. So oftentimes, one of the things that we see that can be one of the most powerful but underutilized sources is your first-party data or CRM data. So when it comes to audiences, think about things like people who have serviced but never purchased. Could be upcoming lease expirations. Maybe you want to use this data as a suppression list and not target a certain group of people. When it comes to targeting, you have the ability to get pretty deep into some specifics. You also have the ability to create look-alike and act-alike audiences. This could be an opportunity where we target customers based on a particular model, or you reach out to people who are leads, unsold, or dead lead opportunities. So Jay, we've done a ton with the Healey team specifically around location targeting because you guys are in a unique
so one of our biggest things that we talked about is location, because there's some marketers and partners that don't really understand where our market is. And it's upstate New York, Hudson Valley. Sometimes they tend to go in the North Jersey, New York City area. So to us, that location and locking in on whatever it's our top 20, top 25 zip codes are super, super important. You don't want to waste dollars. We're all dealers here. We're very picky we want a good return on our investment, but we don't want to waste the money on trying to market to we're not going to sell cars. So when we talk to Justin's team and our other partners, it's so important to make sure they're targeting the right areas and you're getting the right message to the people that are buying cars from you. I don't want to sell a car. There's no point for me to sell a car in New York City or all the way in Connecticut. It'd be just a waste of dollar to get one deal and if I spend tons of money. So location's super important. Make sure it's always locked in and have the right people involved that understand what you're trying to do.
Another part of your targeting strategy needs to be having a robust retargeting system. So if you don't have some sort of retargeting system in place, you are missing a lot of opportunity. So it's important to call it out. Are you still interested? Did life get in the way? Making sure that when a customer hits a certain number of VDPs or spends a certain amount of time on your website, you're retargeting them and reaching back out to them with very specific messaging. It's really important that that's part of any solid social media digital strategy. The other part about this is making sure that it's done appropriately. And this can be done with what we're going to call a hot retargeting strategy. But if I'm a shopper, for example, and I'm clicking on Ford F-150s, I'll use Ford for an example here. If I'm clicking on Ford F-150s and I'm bouncing around from Ford F-150 to Ford F-150, but then I leave, I don't convert on your website, you have a great opportunity to retarget me. But how many of you would be confident that that retargeting would serve me content relative to the F-150? Because if I'm looking at trucks and the digital breadcrumbs, if you will, that I'm leaving on your website are indicating that I'm a truck buyer, and you retarget me with a convertible, you totally missed the mark. So it's really important that that strategy is aligned with your goals. So Jay, we've worked with you to make sure that the retargeting is like locked in. What are your thoughts and some of the success we've had from a retargeting perspective?
So retargeting might be the most important, or one of the most important ads you could serve to a consumer. You're going to serve them up relevant inventory, like he said. F-150, you want to show F-150s. But it's another chance to show them why they should pull the trigger and buy that vehicle from you. So whether it's you offer great service or free prepaid maintenance with your vehicle, something like that to keep them engaged. And then you're also going for that point of like for the after sale. Hey, you buy this truck from us, we'll service your car for life. You want to create that customer for life and really convince them why they should buy from you, not just sell them that vehicle like I said before. It's so important when you're retargeting is to give them another message on top of the inventory that you're showing them to really drive home that sale and that deal.
Love it. Not going to spend a ton of time on this slide because it does get a little techie, but it is important that you have some advanced technology helping you make sure that you are retargeting appropriately. So things like making sure that your pixel is set up appropriately to make sure that you are capturing that user behavior and be able to create, you know, audiences based on the actions that they're taking. CAPI, which is Conversions API. Again, I promise I'm not going to go deep into the tech stuff. It basically gives you the ability to get enhanced user signals, take you a little bit deeper to understand exactly what that shopper is doing. At the end of the day, it's also going to give you the ability to see more lead signals and get further down the funnel from a performance perspective. Another strategy to think about or consider is using third-party data. So you have the ability there to leverage a data source that may be able to bring you in-market shopper. Or again, Jay, we've had great success with you in your kind of unique scenario that you are the only dealer in your area that has all three of the top commercial lines. We could pull a list and have pulled a list of people who are in a trade or driving a commercial type vehicle.
Yeah, this was like end of year because we all know businesses are looking to sell vehicles. So we took all three of our brands. It was Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford, and Chevy. We showed commercial ads. We really targeted our market and all the business owners there, and we're able to move product and really serve the ad to all business owners. So it was a good way to do it. You could really focus in on that, and it's a great way to move certain products at the end of the year or anytime throughout the year. So that's what that is.
So phase 4, it's time to evaluate. Okay, we need to debrief, we need to pivot if needed, and make adjustments. So when it comes to social media strategy, there's going to be a time where you're going to have an inflection point and you need to really see and understand how my campaign performed. Did you achieve the goal that you were setting out to achieve? So we're going to look at specific metrics and we're going to make sure that we're able to debrief. Things when it comes to gathering attention, we're going to look at reach, impression, video views. These are some of the key KPIs that we look at. When it comes to action, right, getting consumers to take action, it's about clicks. It's about cost per click. We're going to look at landing page views. And I mentioned earlier a retargeting strategy. It's important to understand how many people have seen 50% or more of a video that you produced. Bottom, it's all about leads. I would be surprised if there's a dealer in the room who isn't interested not only in lead quantity, but also in lead quality. We're going to look at not only leads, but your cost per lead. How are they converting? We want to bring you down to the point where we can show you sales match back and ultimately get into cost per unit sold, right? Those key metrics. So if there is the need to shift and pivot, it's important to look at the objectives when making those decisions. So we all know things happen rapidly in this industry. So did you just receive an additional allocation of vehicles on Friday afternoon? Did the OEM just surprise us with a great incentive plan? The great thing, or one of the great things about social media is the immediacy to deployment. So Jay, we've had plenty of instances where there's been a something happens on a Friday, right? You get more cars, you get an incentive, something happens, and you're like, I got to be first to market.
Yeah, first off, your team knows I'm high maintenance and I'm probably pretty annoying to them. So, so I always tell them when we first started talking is we need speed, quality, and communication. Communication to me is super, super important. We want to be first in our area with the incentives out and whether they're special ads or whatever it is changed. If something changes, I want it done and started being updated that day. It happens. Our open dialogue between us is so important, and my team, and I can't do it without them, and that's what I preach to them as well. There has to be speed involved. You want to get those couple extra days in the market serving your specials up or any of your ads. So that's a good part where, like, I think it was last month, we got an incentive on Chrysler. I mean, Stellantis now does incentives, so it's important. And we're able to twist like that, add it on the Hornet, and actually move a couple units, even though that's hard to believe. But we did actually move a couple Hornets, so that was a good pivot there.
Well, and it's that speed to market, right? If you can get out there, if there's 5 Stellantis dealers and they all get the same incentive, but if you can get that message out to consumers, you have a better opportunity to capitalize on that quicker.
Yeah.
Time to market. So it's important to debrief. It's important to break down the information, and you can look at things like meetings and the metrics that we like to walk through, getting into a monthly reporting cadence. But Jay, you and your team have a very specific structure that we appreciate. You want to get in, have a effective, concise meeting, not meeting just for the sake of having a meeting, and really walk through it to the point where you and your team have all read the same book.
Yes, I did make them read that NADA favorite traction. Do we follow it perfectly? No, but the way our team operates is, first off, I try to find the best possible people. There's no point of having someone that's kind of mediocre that doesn't believe in your culture or how you want to operate. So we do weekly meetings. They're a young crew, so every Tuesday we'll meet. We break it down. We problem solve quick. We figure out what we need to do, figure out our weekly plan, and move forward. They have to stay on track. They're 19 to 24 years old, so they can get kind of lost sometimes. Every week they give me a recap. They'll say how they broke it down, what content they created, what problems they faced, what good issues they have, what's their plan for next week, and we break it down that way. And it seemed to really help them. It helped them grow up, but also kept our content growing, kept our platforms growing. It helps us get speed, and that really helped us stay organized. So that's kind of how we break it down. It's a little chaotic sometimes, but it seems to really work for us, and it's helping us grow.
And I think the other thing, real quick to note that's important, I would imagine most of the people here, like yourself, are data people, right? At the end of the day, you need to have some level of ROI, some level of understanding of, you put an investment in, what was your return on investment? It's important that you not only review that with our team, but also with your own team.
Oh yeah, especially we know all our GMs, when I review that data with them, if you're not making money off what we're serving, there's really no point to do it. So, like Justin said, we're all data people. We need to see return on investment, and that's another reason we bring that up every week as well.
Okay, so if anyone here would like to have a complimentary 14-point inspection, feel free to scan this QR code. We will take a look at not only your social media, but also your SEO and SEM strategy, because at the end of the day, they do all tie in together. I think everybody's phones are down. As a quick recap of our 17 battle-tested ad strategy, phase number 1, it is absolutely imperative that you start with a plan, right? Understand your goal, understand your targeting, and understand what you're trying to accomplish. Phase 2, make sure you assemble a team. Jay gave us some great insight into how his team is structured, some of the tools that they use. We talked about some of the important hooks that can help make your social media that much more impactful. The third part is about targeting, right? We didn't go too deep into CAPI or Meta by design, but think about ways that you can set specific audiences to make sure that you are reaching your goal. And at the end of the day, it comes down to evaluating, debriefing, and if needing, making pivots and changes. So we hope everybody enjoyed our session. If you have any questions for Jay or for me, we're happy to take them. What you got? So it's a great question. And success can be varied. So you're going to have all of your standard site-side metrics on Meta, so Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and we can look at all of those. Now, my guess is you're asking because you understand that those metrics are going to vary by platform. So we have benchmarks that we're happy to share in terms of what you should expect for each of the individual platforms. The other thing, just as an aside, success can vary, right? So when we're working with Jay on a bottom of funnel conversion type campaign, that's going to have a very different readout or very different metrics than Whoop conversion Whoop consideration on trying to get people to understand that they offer more than just vehicles. So success is really going to vary based on the initial objective.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, and follow us at Healey Brothers on all social platforms.